What's going on, guys? It's me, Tekka. Today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. It's good to be back. I've missed you guys. We're going to be talking spoilers as I put in the title. So anyone that clicked on this video anyway, please do not go and watch this video. Please put it to a watch later playlist or like the video so you can come and see it later. I don't want to ruin the movie for you. I want you to enjoy it for what it's supposed to be. I'll give you 3 seconds because I'm not going to be starting the video straight away. 1, 2, 3. Come back later. Okay, guys, let's get to the main point. So, Spider-Man No Way Home lived up to what we all wanted it to be. Most of the leaks were right. All the scenes. This movie was the greatest Marvel movie in history. And later on in the video, you'll understand why. But this movie plays... Let's talk about the main story. The actors and the actresses play their roles so well in this movie. But the storyline was amazing. They played the story so... correct. Sorry. They started off slow. Then it started pacing up as the movie went on, which I loved because this movie, obviously we sort of knew that was coming anyway, but it does exactly take off after the Far From Home post-credit scene where Mysterio reveals Peter's identity. The crowd goes wild and it's so cool to see this franchise continuing. This movie was great. But let's get to the villains. Yeah. So as I was brainstorming whilst I was off social media, I knew that I sort of thought that these villains they needed to be. So these villains, they get taken from their movies they were in the past, Andrew Garfield's franchise and Tobey Maguire's franchise. So Doc Ock gets taken from Spider-Man 2 when he had Peter up by the neck, and that's when he goes. And Sandman was, from what he was saying in that, he was in one scene he protects Peter from Electro. So I would assume he was taken after Spider-Man 3, the final scene. And then Goblin, I don't really know what... Obviously he was taken from the first Spider-Man movie, but I don't know when. But then, of course, we have Andrew's franchise. So Lizard was taken from the fight that... when he was fighting Spider-Man on Oscorp, on top of the Oscorp building. Then Electro was taken when that scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he was absolutely beating Andrew. But yes. Sorry. But yeah, that is the villains. It was so great to see the actors back playing their villains. Willem Dafoe, in this movie, I would say he's kind of the main villain, in my opinion. You didn't get much content from him, but he was he had the most twisting parts and the most dark parts, in my opinion. But talking about Green Goblin and Spider-Man, let's just say, when you think of Spider-Man, we've never got a proper fight scene. In this movie, bro, this movie had the most brutal fight scenes it wasn't between anyone else. It was between Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and it was between Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. When they fought, these fight scenes were brutal. I mean, we had Goblin pushing Peter down many floors after floor, going down, smashing through floors after floors after floors, then getting chucked up and going through floors and floors again. And then when Peter had the chance, he would be beating him down. And Green Goblin wasn't really getting affected by it. But yes, this scene is definitely a proper brutal scene. And I love this because we'll talk about the post-credit scene quickly. I know it's all over the place, all the stuff I'm talking about, but I'd rather do it in stuff that could lead to that instead of doing it in a row. But yes, what I noticed, this shows like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3, he had an attitude, he was rude, he was violent and everything. I have a feeling, because we've seen this dark side of Peter, I think, due to the post-credit scene, which we get Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's Venom in that scene, and he gets, obviously, the ending, he gets taken back to his universe. I do hope Tom Hardy stays as Spider-Man. Not Spider-Man, sorry, Venom. I really like Tom Hardy's Venom, and I'd hate for them to change it. But yes, like this, that when he goes back into his universe, a bit of the symbiote gets left onto a coin. And of course, being left on that coin, the symbiote, the Venom symbiote, is now in the MCU. And I have a feeling this brutal side of Spider-Man, because I have a feeling, as most post-credits scenes do, they lead to the next movie, don't they? Or another movie coming out. The Avengers movies usually lead to, like, the post-credits in Avengers movies, they always lead to a solo movie for a new character or whatever. But in the solo movies, and they have a post-credit, that usually leads to their next film. So this symbiote, I think the next film, because Tom Holland signed up for 3 new Spider-Man movies, so this is sick. It looks like Tom Holland's staying. But I have a feeling in the next movie, Tom's going to be swinging back, because obviously through the ending, let's discuss the ending. Everyone has forgotten about Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Everyone knows Spider-Man's there, but they've completely forgotten who Peter Parker. No one knows who Peter Parker is. But yes, basically, Peter is. I have a feeling in the next movie, Peter's going to be swinging around in New York, and he's going to see this green, like, black group, or the symbiote's going to look for him, because this symbiote is probably going to be traveling from host to host, most likely, because it's not like in Spider-Man 3 where it fell from a meteor and then it travelled. Either that, Peter will be hanging out at a certain area, and he'll be like, let's go and save him. And then the symbiote attaches to his suit. Or it will find somewhere. We'll see that in the next movie. I'm not going to predict anything. That's for TikTok. But let's get to the final 3 things we need to talk about. Okay. So the box. This box that it wasn't. Basically, when Strange did the spell, Peter was constantly messing it up, and the whole room cracked into the multiverse, and Strange was using his magic to close it and turn it into like this hexagon box. Then he says he contained the spell because you've completely made this spell go off really bad, Peter. Like, this will affect the multiverse and alternate realities. So then, as we see a few scenes later, he puts it in a box, because when this box is when the spell is completely complete, all of them will go back to their universe, and they'll start off from where they were taken from. Yes, that's the box. So I just wanted to cover that a little bit. But obviously Peter takes it and then Goblin destroys it in the final fight scene. But let's talk about the most excited thing we get. So Ned and Zendaya, not Zendaya, sorry, well Zendaya, but Ned and MJ are at his grandma's house. They're eating food. There must have been their tea or something, because they obviously needed to stay somewhere safe whilst looking after the cube. But Ned says the words, "I wish I could see Peter," and a little portal opens. He was like, MJ was like, "Oh, do that again. I wish I could see Peter." And then the portal opens wide, and we see in the dark alley, we see a spider suit. And it's like, they're shouting Peter, and like that. And then this guy waves, runs up to the portal, jumps, and guess who it is? Takes his, you see the spider symbol, you see the suit, you already know who it is. He takes his mask off. It's Andrew Garfield, SpiderMan. And may I say, as I said in my last video, I was so excited to see the crowd's reaction. I joined in. We all shouted and clapped and screamed our heads off because we saw Andrew Garfield in this movie. All the leaks, all our theories were correct. We all got what we wanted. Then he's like, "Let's not Peter Parker." They have a bunch of jokes and it gets a bit funny. Then Ned opens another portal saying, "I want to see Peter." Then he gets this portal. You see a guy walk in his normal clothes with his suit under his shirt. It's Tobey Maguire. And I was, again, the crowd went wild. We were all screaming. More excited probably for Tobey Maguire because a lot of the people in the theatre with me were a lot older. I'm not saying you can't be younger and still because Tobey Maguire's my Spider-Man. But yes, you see Tobey Maguire come in and it is wild. It's so good. And sorry about that. It is just amazing. Like, we see Tobey Maguire and Andrew, and then obviously due to one of the scenes we get our sad death that we all knew there was a death coming. When they figure out Goblin was tricking them, sadly Goblin calls his glider and he chucks a bomb. Tom Holland does flick it, but obviously when the glider smashed through the building, it hit the back of Aunt May. So sadly, Aunt May died in this movie, but she says the last words, "With great power comes great responsibility." And I've to go back to the Tobey Maguire scene. So after that, they're looking for Peter, and we get a Venom. Sorry about that. We get a Venom hint. Anyway, because Tobey Maguire says he fought an alien from space, this alien goop, which was the symbiote. We're trying to find my friend Peter Parker, Ned and MJ are saying. And they go on a roof. They're in their typical Spider-Man poses, waiting there, and they jump off. He's like, "I'm going to send you back because one of your villains just killed my aunt and my Aunt May." And Peter, you can sort of see the anger building up, and they discuss things. Andrew mentions about Gwen. Toby mentions about his MJ. Obviously, his MJ hasn't died. But then they all had a discussion. I can't remember exactly what they said about, but they had a discussion, and then at the end, she was like, the last words that she said to me was, "With great power," and then they both say, "Comes great responsibility." They said, "How do you know that?" Tom Holland says. They say, "Uncle Ben told me." So it is good. That was such a great scene. And then obviously that's all I can recall from that scene. Then they go into science lab preparing to cure all the people, because they basically want to cure the people and give them a chance, which it makes sense in this movie because all the actors are older now. And I think to bring them back to their own franchises would be such a sad thing to do. I mean, like, because they won't, they've got a while left. But I mean, when actors get older, they do less work. So I think they sort of wanted just to cure the people and give them a second chance on their universe. But let's get to the sort of end scene. So in this end scene, it's on the Empire State Building with the Captain America shield, which gets mentioned in the recent episode of Hawkeye. Yelena wants to go and check out the new Statue of Liberty. So I would assume No Way Home takes place after Hawkeye. I would think, yeah, I would say it takes place after Hawkeye. But yes, this main fight scene, you see the iconic Tobey Maguire suit, his suit, you see Andrew Garfield's suit and everything. You see him talking together, and then they find out they're talking about Toby's webs coming out of his wrists, because obviously they have web cartridges in like web shooters. And he's like, "Why do you need that?" Blah blah blah. "Because I need webs." It's like, really? Shoots his web in the science lab. But yes, basically the final fight scene is happening on the Empire State Building. I don't want to talk about that too much because I know there's some people that are probably watching this video anyway, and I don't want to spoil it too much. But this is spoilers, so I've already ruined the movie much for you anyway. But I just don't want to discuss every single thing I saw. But anyway, you get them to the state. They're all over the place because they've never worked in a team. But as time goes on, they stand together. You had the iconic concept art of them talking in a circle, and then you get Andrew Garfield. They're all putting hands on shoulders saying, and Andrew just goes, "I love you guys," and the crowd is just laughing. Then this is where everyone starts to scream and shout again. You see Electro, because all the villains have arrived, of course. You see Electro and arriving, and obviously Electro's the most powerful, like one of the powerful ones there. You see all these villains coming in, then they're like, "Let's go, we're ready." Then they all fight them, and then they get it to group together because they're all over the place. They're messing up each other and they keep getting confused because they're all Peter Parker. But then they run together, and the most best scene in the movie, in my opinion. Well, no, the second best scene in the movie, where they're all running, they jump off, Toby and Andrew do their classic screams. Whoa! And they just flipping swing and sink and everything. And in that scene where Tom Holland's falling from the sky and does a pose, they CGI'd that in the trailer. Toby and Andrew were right next to him. They all dived. And Toby was first, which I only just noticed that now. They did it in the time, like in a row. Toby landed first, Andrew landed second, Tom Holland landed the last. And then obviously they showed the screen, Sandman, Lizard and Electro. And in that scene when Lizard gets kicked, we were all like, what are they hiding? It was Andrew who kicked him. He kicked him, and Toby went for Sandman, and Tom Holland went for Electro. So good. This movie was amazing, to the point of view where I'm going again tonight, because this will be posted on today, which I'm filming this on the Friday. I will be going tonight again to watch it, and I cannot wait. Because, again, the cinema is mostly packed, so I cannot wait to see. I hope it has the same reaction as the cinema on Wednesday. Everyone shouts when they come in. I just can't wait to see this movie again. This movie was great. It worked. It came out to be everything we wanted, guys. Everyone who's watching this, and you're obviously watching this, if you do like Marvel content, go and watch it as much as you can, bro. This movie, my top 5 favourite movies now have got to be Spider-Man No Way Home, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and Black Panther, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 2. These are my top 5, bro. This movie is now my favourite Marvel movie of all time. No, Let There Be Carnage is my 4th place, so that takes place from Black Panther. Black Panther's my last one. Even though Black Panther's one of my favourite characters, that's not really going well at the moment. I heard the actress for Shuri got fired recently, so that franchise is just falling apart now, which is sad. But anyway, we're talking about No Way Home. But yes, I cannot wait to see this movie again tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this video and enjoyed the movie. I hope it lived up to what you wanted it to be. I hope it has. I'm pretty sure it has. I just want to say thank you, guys. Remember, we're still on that goal on my TikTok. Go and follow that. We're still working to get 100 followers by the end of December. Make sure to go and follow if you're watching this, please. I just want to thank you guys for supporting me. It's nice to be back. Missed you guys. Missed posting content. But yeah, it's good to be back. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Peace out.